suggests you're looking to see if the project is actually feasible. So that includes looking at the range of different sites, looking to see what the costs of these sites are, looking to see if there's any kind of technical kind of information that you need to glean from the site, if there's any kind of barriers to the kind of site being developed. And we, the Staffin Community Trust, secured funding from the Scottish Land Fund and also the Rural Housing Fund way back in 2015 for Te and Cashel. And the money we received from those two organisations helped us pay for the kind of feasibility of the project. So that included appointing an architect and also engineers to look at the kind of different sites that we had suggested to the Trust, and it basically enabled the Trust and its partners, the Communities Housing Trust and Isle of Skye, to come to an informed decision about the site and getting it off the ground really.
So young people and such as myself is with buying properties on Skye, they're either too expensive, or if they were to go through the process of buying the homes, are priced out by people from away.
Ba fé má cíine taon seo sa chóirisnach ha na parent nach an goparin seo ha má bhaithir go sin hospital is ha na áthir go sin cuiteach is ha iad an cónaí an cuais sa chóirisnach a bhí gopar cáirí dúine is mar sin bha fé má cíine seo agus cuiteach ha má bhráithir a dog an scáil is cará sin ar son eis na gluasa gomachas in scáil ar ha na tarach sin ar céis go le town seo.
The very first step we agreed to take with our partners was to issue a local call for sites. So essentially, it is what it sounds like. It's the Trust advertising very heavily, posters all around the community, up on their shops, email updates to all the members, up on our website. It was on Radio and Gale, it was on the West Island Free Press, BBC, etc. Essentially, we were asking the community, do you want to suggest a site which could be a location for a new affordable housing development. The sites were a mixture of in-by kind of land and common grazings, rougher kind of poorer kind of agricultural ground. And what we did then was the Highland Council's planners and officials from Scottish Natural Heritage, from the Isle of Skye Housing Association and the Communities Housing Trust, they all came down and we took them round all the different sites, and they basically gave us their kind of professional kind of view of each of the sites. There was a technical appraisal of the site back in 2015. Once we got the grants from the Scottish Land Fund and the Rural Housing Fund, we appointed architects, the Skye-based company Rural Design, who were very experienced in dealing with developments that needed to be kind of sensitively sited. We also appointed the HGA engineers in Inverness kind of area, and we had a machine on site to kind of do test holes. Obviously, we were looking to see what were the next steps, and very kind of early on, Isle of Skye and the Communities Housing Trust were kind of keen to work with the community and trying to find a solution for all. And from that, we kind of developed a very kind of close working relationship with both organisations. Isle of Skye obviously have kind of housing in Staffin already, and are well known and experienced kind of landlord in Skye, and been over the course many times. CHT have also done kind of a range of developments across the Highlands and working with smaller kind of rural communities. And it really was a relationship that was kind of beneficial for all parties. We were sharing the kind of financial risk between the three parties. We were obviously kind of, it was attractive to funders that the community was working with experienced kind of housing enablers in the Highlands. And for a small kind of community trust like Staffin, we're obviously kind of working with kind of a lot of professionals. What we wished we'd known about the feasibility stage beforehand was probably how long the whole project was going to take. Early on, during the kind of call for sites and the land audit, it was kind of highlighted to us that Staffin was within a national scenic area, and one of our sites was kind of perceived by a government agency to actually contravene that kind of designation. And this was something that kind of came to a surprise to the Staffin Community Trust and also the Community Council, and we kind of worked through that for quite some time. The other thing generally during the feasibility stage was really the length of time that things took. For example, it was in planning for quite a considerable length of time. It was also had to go through the kind of crofting resumption kind of process, which again took a long time. And there was obviously, like any project, there's like a serious challenge in securing kind of capital funding, and it's the same for a lot of kind of community kind of projects, that you can get the planning permissions and you can do the feasibility, but then obviously you need to get the kind of the funding in place.
The feasibility stage for communities in projects like this is absolutely critical. Not only does it establish the technical feasibility of a project, so is the site suitable, can you get planning, what are the costs likely to be, can you secure that funding, but it also develops community buy-in. So through a process of local engagement, to ensure that the community are keen to see the project taken forward and understand what the benefits and opportunities are from the project. So feasibility is a really critical stage. Organisations like Communities Housing Trust and South of Scotland Community Housing are absolutely critical at the feasibility stage, because they bring the experience and skills to communities that, of course, the communities themselves don't have, because they're not housing developers. It's a really complex technical process.
To our communities who are about to start feasibility, I suppose my main recommendations are to make sure that you're closely kind of in tune with the community from day one. You can't kind of go ahead and just work on something without kind of telling people about it and discussing it with them, and getting emails and online updates is all very well, but there's nothing better than actually speaking to people face to face. And we always encourage people to kind of come in to the office, and we'd have kind of regular meetings with them.
I feel like I'm sure I'm Untitled Chapter. She gyfeil tor dwy'n chimcolorn. A sy'n feel like I'm a big mat jigyn. Ha tor clown and show. So I tor scoren. Yeah, I'm over big, like especially. A fi clich le dwy'n. Or charos yn acum so I can ask not to be fechtin. It's good to have me davenich if all of an over acum so. I'm fatal like I ma have me do. I'm follow.